Hello, everyone. This is Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while putting ourselves in the character's shoes, guffawing at our own antics, and not shying away from the sexy bits. This week, we've done it. We actually read a book that claims to involve Hanukkah and then for real features Hanukkah on the page. We have to bow down to Julia Wolf for making this momentous occasion possible. So, without further ado, here's our recap of 8 Cozy Nights by Julia Wolf. And happy final day of Hanukkah to everyone celebrating. I'm very tricksy.
Did you cut your own hair again? I'm sorry,
No.
we didn't plan this banter. No, it looks shorter.
No, not since the last time I cut it. It's just that it's not styled and it's pulled back in the front so you can't see the severe angle.
Because I thought it was a much more severe angle than what it looks like now.
It is.
Oh, there it is. There's
There
what
it
I
is.
remember. Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, but when I put my hair back, it just looks like a normal person's bab.
Yeah, it looks like my hair when it's a bag.
It does. Yeah.
When it's back.
Yeah.
So what's up with you? We didn't plan banter, guys.
So many things are new with me.
Mhm.
Oh shit. One thing that's actually new is that I've been okay, so you know how I have my office in the basement and that includes the audiobook narration station, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so it has to
Narration station.
be narration
What's
station.
your blation? Yeah, damn it.
What's your imagination?
There you go. There.
So it has to be so quiet.
Mm-hmm,
But that means that in the summer, I'm kind of fucked because I can't have a fan on, right?
Sure.
And in the winter, like, it's nice because it's a blanket for it, but I'm still freezing my nipples off, right? And I told Michael, I was like, until I can sort of upgrade my system, I think I'm just going to freeze all winter.
Slank it.
Yeah, right?
That's an
And he
idea
was
I
like,
just had.
Oh, I like that actually, but it's like my toes, like they just get frozen. And I even put on those.
Didn't I
those,
get you at one point
boots.
like a heated slipper or something?
You got me heated muffins.
Yeah,
Heated
muffins.
Muppets. No, heated mittens.
Yes, I've gotten you boots and gloves for this situation before in your life.
And I was wearing it. It dropped down really, really low, and I was wearing the down boots you got me with
Those,
like 2 pairs of socks. It was insane, and I just could not thaw out.
mittens that plug into your USB that look like
Yeah.
toasts? Okay,
Yep.
I remember those.
Yeah,
I knew
you
I got
did.
those for somebody.
They're so good.
They have toasts on them. I think they're Japanese because they're very cute.
They're very cute. Yeah. Anyway, so Michael looked at me and was like, Melody, there has to be something that a human invented for this. Like, there just has to be. And suddenly at my doorstep, there's this like totally silent heater situation. It looks like a stand-up radiator and it claims to be like electric and oil. I don't know if it's like a forever item because it claims to be oil and yet I can't like put more oils in it, and I've never encountered something like that. I don't know if it like recycles its own oil or if I like listen. I don't know. It's fucking magic. It's a magic of science.
It's perfect for Hanukkah because there's only a limited amount of oil in the space heater, and it will burn for you all winters long.
It's gonna keep me warm all winter.
On this, the day of our Hanukkah book, The Miracle of the Oil Space Heater. We did
it. Yeah, look, banters.
We did it. Well, that's really nice, I guess. I think we're recording this on the first night of Hanukkah. Is that correct? It seems like it's Hanukkah from the internet today.
I think we're recording it on the first night of Hanukkah. Yeah.
I saw beloved figure skater Jason Brown make a very cute Hanukkah post. And if you aren't following his Twitter, you're doing something very wrong because he is adorable. And on this, the first night of Hanukkah, do yourself a favor and go watch his Sinnerman short program, which is fucking genius.
Ooh.
Anyway, back to the book. But that's why I think it's Hanukkah, because he made a Hanukkah post.
I like it. No, it is Hanukkah. Yeah. We are recording this on November 28th, which is the first day of Hanukkah 2021.
Great. And then it will come out on the last day of Hanukkah then,
Correct.
Right? Okay, cool. I can do math.
Yeah,
1
happy
plus
Hanukkahs,
8.
everyone.
Happy
Yay!
Hanukkah. This was a delightful little novella. And this is the first time in the history of Heaving Bosoms that we've tried to do a Hanukkah book.
And it
and
worked.
Succeeded.
It's so true. Oh my gosh, I was so excited when they actually lit some candles and stuff.
Yeah, when they celebrated Hanukkah in the Hanukkah book. Whoa, revolutionary.
That
My
was
God.
nice. It shouldn't be this big of a treat.
Yeah, both characters were like actually Jewish and celebrated the holiday instead of like one person who celebrates Christmas and the other person who's like half Jewish and doesn't really celebrate, which we managed to do twice.
We're very talented.
Yes.
And also
thank you.
Harlequin, Harlequin fucked us.
Yes.
What it did.
Harlequin did fuck us with their quote unquote Hanukkah book.
And also
Bullshit.
the world, because that was like their first quote unquote Hanukkah book. Do better, Harlequin.
Do better, Harlequin. They won't. Thanks, Julia Wolf. Thank you.
Julia,
And
you've done
you
the
know
world a
what?
service.
Not only, like, I feel like there's a lot on Twitter right now about, like, making romance your therapy and, like, leaning hard into happily ever afters and stuff.
Sure.
I encourage our listener to lean in even further and only read novellas with no conflict in them.
Yes.
Gosh, that was just a nice little treat.
This was such a warm snuggle.
Yeah,
the
just
whole
120
time.
pages of not a conflict in sight. Nothing
of
keeping
just,
these
like,
two apart.
That's
Just
right.
a
Just like
cozy
healthy
little-
people being
Yeah.
honest with each other.
Yeah, and having hot Hanukkah sex.
Hot Hanukkah sex. Different
Burning
varieties of hot
bright.
Hanukkah sex.
Brighter than that Harlequin book.
That's right.
All right, should we
We
do it?
should.
Yeah.
So we start off, and Larissa is moving into a new apartment with her sister, Helena.
Mhm.
Who knows?
No, I thought it was Helena. I'm going to say Helena.
I like Helena, yeah.
All right, yeah.
And so as they're like carrying heavy boxes up, they see this bike that's like right in front of her door. And she's like, what the fuck, bike in front of my door? Like, who does that? And she kicks it off to the side. And then she feels bad about it. What?
I'm just not a huge fan of Larissa in like chapters 1 through 3. I thought she way overreacted to the bike situation. She was like really mad about this. And it's like you're moving into the place. So whoever's in the neighborhood, i.e. your neighbor, probably doesn't think anyone lived there. Right? Like that's an honest mistake.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just live in a very congested area, but like there's usually not much time when somebody isn't either moving in or out of a place. You know what I mean? Like the idea of an empty apartment is just bananas to me. But that's what happened here.
But also just move the bike.
I know, right? Like
shove it all the way and like make it crash and stuff. Like that's a lot.
It was a lot. And I think it spoke to like, her overall feelings about moving and boxes and stuff.
She just seemed like a real crabby Cathy. And I was like, I was not here for it for
She didn't
the
have
first
that
few chapters.
Enthusiastic D inside
Yeah,
her,
I was going to say she needed to get dick down and then she mellowed out real quick.
Real good. Okay, so she moves in and Helena is wonderful. There's like a bunch of family members that are adorable and like we also don't have to talk about them. But her sister Helena is a romance author with like the mouth of a sailor and it's really cute. Anyway.
And it's day 1 of Hanukkah. So
yes,
like,
it's currently day 1 of Hanukkah.
And then the sister is like, are you coming over tonight? How are we doing this? What? Because like your menorah is probably in a box or whatever. And she does go to her sister's house the first night, right?
The second night.
The second night she spends with him, I thought.
No.
Really?
The first night
That's the first night of Hanukkah?
I thought it was. Oh, no, you're right.
The second one.
You're right. The first night she goes to her sister's house. Yeah, we just don't see it.
Okay. And then the second night, oh no.
What?
So so then the next morning she leaves. She's trying to get out her door.
She's trying to leave.
Trips over the bike that's in front of her door that he put. And this is like, my first one was like, I don't know about you, Larissa. Now I don't know about you, Yosef, because like, listen, somebody moved your bike.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, he was like, oh, these kids in the neighborhood. Like he turned into an 85-year-old man all of a sudden instead of like doing some deductive reasoning about mayhaps I have a neighbor now. But yeah. He's very
I
cute.
did like chapter 2 is from his perspective, and it's like the first paragraph is like, what the fuck? My bike is all messed up. And he's like, well, I just propped it right back up on the door of the empty apartment and went along my merry fucking way. Like, this is bullshit.
There you
Somebody
go.
moved my bike. And it's like, dude, probably somebody moved into that apartment and moved your bike. That seems like it would make sense. And wouldn't he have heard her at all? Because they hear each other sometimes.
Right? Yeah. I
don't
feel
know.
like she hears him pacing earlier. I don't know. I chalked it up.
I love it when she hears him pacing. Remember that?
Know, me
anyway,
too.
sorry.
Oh my God. Oh. So Yosef is a hairstylist, and he has decided to take Hanukkah completely off. And so I chalked this up to him just being like fucking fried. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, he's just been working nonstop. He says that, like, he needs to be in constant motion because it seems like he's got a bit of an ADHD thing going on. And that comes from a person who has ADHD. P.S.
Yeah. I bet for hairstylists, like, early to mid-December is a busy time because people are trying to get their hair did before they go, like, visit family and friends and stuff and go to holiday parties. And,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet they're stretched thin.
I bet. So anyway, he's like, yeah, I just went on my merry way. And then he hears a crash bang screech outside. And he's like, oh, that cannot be good. He goes out, and Larissa has managed to like trip over it and yet end up under it. And like, she's all tangled up with this bike. And she like, I wanted to picture it in my mind's eye, and I just couldn't make it happen. I just thought it was going to be the best image. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so she's like cut to shit on her leg, and it's bad. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, can I help you up? And she's like, who the fuck leaves their bike in front of another person's door? Like, I like that she just went for his jugular at first.
I hated it. I was
really
just like, it's clearly an honest mistake, ma'am. Like, he's clearly very sorry, and he's like trying to help her, and she's like, I don't even know where my fucking Band-Aids are because I just fucking moved in, and like, I'm gushing blood. And he's like, I have Band-Aids, like, let me help you. And she's like, fuck you, you tried to murder me. Like, it's
just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go into the apartment of a man who tried to murder me.
Yeah, and it's very rough. And also, like, I can't really get a gauge on, like, how bad this injury is, because sometimes she's talking about how she's, like, gushing blood, and then other times they're having, like, a casual conversation, and I'm like, ma'am, you're gushing blood! Like, that seems like it's very serious.
It seems like it's just a scrape, but it's, like, a scary looking
I think it was
scrape,
a big stab,
you know?
is what I think.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Don't you? We can't go back there.
We're not gonna do it.
Yeah,
but it was definitely a
firelight fight. It was a big stab. I don't even remember what side I was on when we did that the first time.
You were on the big stab side.
I think I was a big stab. That sounds like me.
And I was a big slash.
Bing boom bong, involuntary manslaughter with Erin. That's not what that is. If anything, this would be a neg hom, which is a negligent homicide, not an involuntary manslaughter.
Oh, indeed.
Involuntary manslaughter is if, like, she got mad that she tripped over his bike, and then in the heat of passion, not knowing what she was doing, did slaughter him.
Ah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because it's involuntary, because she's taken out, it's like a depraved heart. I don't know. It depends on what state you're in.
Fair enough. Hey, I want to make sure of something with you really quickly. And I feel like it's a service that we can do with the world.
Recording? Oh,
to the podcast world. Yeah.
Okay.
And that is, I keep on listening to true crime podcasts, and I keep on hearing true crime podcasters be like, what the fuck is this attempted murder bullshit? Like, it should be murder. And like, it is, right?
Attempted murder carries the same penalty as murder in most states.
Yeah.
But you don't get the same sentence because you haven't caused the same amount of harm by attempting to murder a person. I mean, the thing is, the sentence can be the same, usually, in most states. Like, the cap for that is the same. Like, the penalty for both things would be, let's say, 99 years.
Sure.
But the reality of the situation is that the sentence you're going to get is not going to be the same for if you murdered somebody and attempted to murder somebody, because you shouldn't, because you haven't caused the same amount of harm. You haven't taken a life.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. But so the penalty can be, but is the minimum threshold lower? than
It
murder
depends. Not
usually?
every state has minimums and maximums and sentencing schedules and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right.
So yeah.
Anyway.
There you go.
It seems like attempted murder is this, like, you're basically being charged with almost the same thing, right?
But it's pretty much, it's pretty much the same thing in most states. It really does depend on your state. But yeah, I've definitely heard a lot of my favorite murderesses rail against the fact that, like, we should probably have the same penalty for attempted murder as we do murder. And we do, depending on where you live. Hey, can I plug? Hey, by the time this comes out, Cole and I will have done a movie briefs about true crime. Yeah! Where we basically just scream for like an hour and a half about true crime. So if you're listening to this and you're interested in hearing what I have to say about true crime, you should go over to movie briefs. Oh my God,
I'm so interested. I cannot wait for that to come out. We did the movie excited.
Dark Places, which you shouldn't watch, but if you're looking for the episode, it's the episode on Dark Places. It's a bad movie, but it allowed us to talk a lot about true crime.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Oh, I can't wait. You just told me that I get a treat this upcoming week, and that is very exciting.
Yeah, I think so. I think Cole's editing it as we speak, so it should be out.
Cool. All right. So, what was I saying?
All right. Okay.
So
she ends up going into
Hanukkah
his
novella.
Okay. Yes. So she does go into his house, even though she accused him of trying to murder her. And then she's like, "Don't get handsy." And then she like gives him a look-see up and down. And then she's like, "Because I'm not interested." And he's like, "Wow." Is he topless? I think he's bare torso for this.
Maybe he doesn't have a shirt on.
Yeah, because he's like, "I have a great body." Like, not out loud to her, but he's like, "Wow, like I work out like a lot." So that was like really mean.
And he says basically like, "That was really mean." And she's like, "You're right. I'm in pain and I'm taking it out on you."
Yes. Yeah.
And so then, no, this isn't the time. Anyway, so he's like bandaging her up and she's like surly AF. And she asks him like what his name is. And he says, "Yo." And she's like, "Okay." Oh no, she says, "I'm Larissa, by the way."
What her name is, and then he says, "Yo." So I thought he was saying, "Sup, sup, girl."
I know. So did she. And so he goes, "Yo," and she goes, "So this customarily is the time that you tell me what your name is." And he's like, "It's Yo. It's short for Yosef." And then she's like, "Wait," and her brain breaks a tiny bit, and she's like, "Do you spell it with a J?" And he's like, "Nah, spell it with a Y." And she's like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard."
Here's the thing. I get it. I also think it's pretty dumb, but you don't say that out loud to the person whose name that it is. And she's like, "This is really going to bother me." I just don't think I would like Larissa if she were a real person. She just seems like a lot, and I wouldn't want it. But she's like, "This is really going to bother me." And I would be so upset if Larissa was like, "Your name bothers me." It's like, fuck off, you know? Like, it's his name.
Is your name spelled with 2 A's, Erin?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, Larissa spells her name with 2 S's, and you don't say Larissa. Like, just let it be, Larissa. Anyway,
like she's a sneaky snake.
Yes.
Oh, hey, HBs. I don't know if you've heard, but we have a Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you get over 150 bonus episodes, most of which include Erin, videos of regular episodes, author hangouts, and so much more. Do you want to hear Erin and I recap every single episode of Crash Landing on You? What about a little film called Psycho Stripper? Do you want more recaps of ridiculous Thanksgiving and other holiday books and movies? And how do you feel about Naima Simone and I recapping amazing reality TV? All of that and more is on the Patreon. There's so much content at your fingertips as soon as you sign up. Seriously, hours and hours. Anyway, it's patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast if you want to check it out. And of course, that link is in the show notes. Keep being a badass.
All right, so
anyway,
so
that's
now
that, and then she goes
day
home.
2 of Hanukkah.
Yeah.
And you guys, she's looking around in her apartment, and she only has candles, and she doesn't have
candles.
a menorah. And then Yo's over there, and he's looking around in his apartment, and he has his menorah, but he doesn't have any candles.
Where are his candles?
You guys are not going to believe this. And they live next to each other. And so he's like, you know what? I'm going to suck it up and go next door and ask her if she has any
she
candles.
goes to his.
Well, but he's getting ready to go to hers.
Oh, yeah.
And then he opens his door to go over to her place, and she's standing there to ask for a menorah. And he's like, I only have one menorah. And she's like, fine. And he's like, but do you have a candle?
But I don't have candles.
Oh, it's so cute. And
It's
then they
so
do light their candle together.
And she is very surly,
sweet.
and she's like, all right, fine.
Yes.
We can light the candles
She's so
together.
mean to him. She like hates men. She like hates him. She's like,
he says
he's like good with kids, and he calls his muscles the guns. And she's like, I don't like men who say that they're good with kids, and I don't like men who refer to their muscles as guns.
No, it's not. It's not that he's good with kids. He said, okay, so earlier he was like, yeah, it'll help with my gun show. Like, I'm going to take my bike up and down from the basement and it'll help with my guns. And she's like, hate that. And then later on, he says something like, oh yeah, I'm a killer with the ladies and the babies or something like that. And so it's the combination that she's like.
Because he says he's a good babysitter. And she's like, no, I don't love this. And then, so I was like, Larissa, I'm not into you right now. And then his response made me not into him. Like, I was okay with it up until he responded where he said, Larissa, I was kidding. It's a thing that I do. My daily mission is to make people laugh. And I was like, okay, like it wasn't that funny. All right. It wasn't laugh funny. Okay.
It wasn't laugh funny, yo.
These two. Yeah.
It wasn't.
It was an uphill climb 20% into this book, but they won me over. Okay.
I was great with them from the beginning. I was just like, these are the people.
Like,
here we go.
I think you're a little more like Larissa than I am. Like, I feel like you would be a little more outspoken in some of these situations than I would.
I mean, maybe.
No?
I don't often tell people their names suck.
No, not that, but like maybe the bike.
Oh, I would lash out if I tripped over somebody's fucking bike. Yes.
I love that there was like a second of silence where you're like, the bike. And then you were like, oh, yes. I would murder a man that had a bike in front of my door.
No,
Why,
listen,
if
it's not
somebody
that.
ever came for my door with a bike.
No, but I would she was mean longer than I would have been, but I definitely would have been like, what the fuck? Like, I live here. Yeah, I just maimed myself on the way out of my fucking door. Who are you?
Oh
like that would have happened.
I would be so cool about it. I just don't understand it at all. But that's fine. There are lots of things that I would not be cool about that you would. But I feel like that's maybe why you like Larissa a little more than I do.
Maybe,
okay, all right.
Maybe. It was understandable for me, definitely. So, anyway, is this the night when they have latkes, or is that later?
No, that's the next night, I think.
That's the next night. Okay. Shoot.
Yeah. So I think that, yes, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. You guys were going to get all the nights confused.
Sometimes
but there's another night
confused
where he comes over. I think it's the next night, though. Like, he comes over to her place. They're going to do candle 3. And she's, like, in the middle of making latkes. Yes. And then they have the conversation of, like, how they eat their latkes. And
no, it is the second night. Because she's in the middle of, like, doing the potatoes and the onions and stuff. And then she gets sidetracked to look for her menorah. She cannot find her menorah.
Right.
She goes over, and then he's like, hey, how about we finish up some latkes together and eat? And she's like,
delicious.
Yeah, okay. So, but then the weirdest thing happens. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. She lives alone. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She lives alone in a family that has vehement ideas about how one eats a latke.
Yes.
And so she's in the sour cream camp, and she's like, okay, do you eat latkes the right way? Or, like, do you eat them the wrong way? And he goes, oh, no, I'm an applesauce man through and through. And she's like, ugh, disgusting. Ugh. But then she goes over to her refrigerator and she gets out a whole thing of applesauce.
Maybe she just likes applesauce.
Why she has applesauce if she doesn't
Maybe
eat
she likes it with her oatmeals in the mornings.
Oh, so you're saying that she just has applesauce in her house for like general consumption?
Well, I don't know. Maybe. That's what I thought.
All right.
It is a food that you can eat without latkes, so I guess I just kind of assumed that.
Yeah, I guess I just assumed that that's weird because the only time I've ever had applesauce in my house, I feel like, is when I've been pregnant or had kids.
Okay.
Like, when I was pregnant, I wanted all these, like, little kid foods that I never did before. Like, I wanted, like, Raisin Bran so hard. And, like, the grossest fish sticks that you could get in, like, an elementary school cafeteria. And applesauce and shit.
Yum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to eat applesauce in my oatmeal, so I would have applesauce sometimes on hand for that.
That sounds nice. Okay. That makes sense. All right.
But
anyway.
I would never, listen, I'm not Jewish, but I feel very strongly that it is a sour cream on a latke, not an applesauce. That idea makes me gag, and I don't like it. I'm not about
really
it.
Funny.
One time, my friend Molly made me try both.
Would be great. Yeah.
Ooh, no. She was like, you have to try the applesauce on the latke. And I was like, I don't want to. And then I did, and it was still bad, and I didn't like it at all.
Wow.
Yep.
Do you put applesauce in pierogies?
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever had... Oh, I've had pierogies. But no, not with applesauce.
I feel like pierogi is another food that people eat with applesauce. And sour cream.
That's possible. Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry, everyone. We're uneducated swine over here. At least I am. This guy. Uncultured and shit.
Totally uncultured.
Completely.
Have you had latkes?
No. I've never had the opportunity to have a latke.
You should do it. You should make latkes this year.
Don't they have like dairy in them?
I don't know.
Maybe
it's
you can
like
make
a potato
them non-dairy.
patty. You can probably very easily make them non-dairy. I just assumed it was like potatoes. And listen, I've never made them. I've just nommed them at Hanukkah parties. So I just thought it was potatoes and oils.
Well, and the only time that I had the opportunity to go to Hanukkah parties or like been around a Jewish community was when I was already non-dairy. So like,
fair enough.
I would go there and be like, nah, probably soaked in butter.
Yeah,
probably butter all over it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. So now they're eating their latkes and it's delicious. And then they do light those candles and it says, our eyes met over the glow of the candles, and that was when she smiled. It didn't last long, but it was there, and I realized I'd been mistaken before. Larissa wasn't just cute or pretty, she was goddamn gorgeous. When she smiled, her eyes lit up, her cheeks flushed with pink, and her wide mouth had me thinking the dirtiest thoughts about my new neighbor. The romance is good.
It's good. And the sex is really good. The moments are very good.
Yeah.
I can really like see like looking at each other over candles. I feel like in a contemporary, you don't get a lot of like candle moments. And I like that Hanukkah gives us the opportunity to have a candle moment.
Yeah.
Or 8. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. Or 8.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And he also, I think it's this night. No, maybe it's the next night. But like he gives her compliments sometimes, and she's like very like nah about them always. She's like,
she's not nah.
Yes, she is.
She's not. She's not. He says you look nice, and she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even try. Like I didn't do anything with my burp or whatever. And, like, that's different from being like, go fuck yourself, you charming man.
That's how I read it. All right, different. So night 3, she goes to her sister's house again.
Yeah, which is stupid. You have found a hot man next door.
Well, stupid. You can't, if you find a hot man and you have, like, one nice time with him, you can't go over to his house every night.
You're right.
You can't just like go knock on his door and be like, I had a great time last night. Can I come in again? It's crazy. But it's kind of what she does because she goes to her sister's house and then she comes home. And then I think she goes over there, right? Or maybe he goes over to her place.
No, it's the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she spends the night at her sister's house. And so...
And she comes home the next morning and then he's like, I hope she didn't like go sleep with some douchebag.
Yeah, and then he's like, I used to be that douchebag, and I want to sleep with her, but I don't want to be a douchebag because I've grown out of that or whatever.
So then they talk about, like, what they do for a living, and she tells him that she's a science person.
Because he says yesterday he knocked on her door a couple of times to see if she wanted help unpacking. And she's like, I don't know. Like, that sounds pretty cool. And then he's like, okay, well, I can definitely help you unpack. And she is like, oh, okay, let me like change or whatever. Like, I'm in yesterday's clothes. And that is when he walks into her house because she like lets him in or whatever. And she's in her room and the door is like cracked a little bit. And she walks past the doorway in just a bra and panties. And he like nearly keels over with arousal. Like,
because she's so super hot.
Because she's so fucking sexy, yeah. And one of the things I love about this book is that she is plus sized and like it's nothing. It's great. It's so good. It's nothing. It's nothing, and I love
like she's
that
not
about
insecure. He's not into her because she's plus sized. He's not like it's nothing. It is nothing except for a description.
It's just like she has 10 fingers and she's bigger. Cool. That's it.
And there's no, like, another thing I like is that they don't specify what size she is. Like, I don't like it in books when they're like, oh, she's a size 24 or she's a size 16 or she's a, whatever it is. Because, like, now it's up to us what her body looks like, the reader. And I like that. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So then they're unpacking and they talk about like what she does for a living, and she's a PhD student in Schmerfel science, and it's
she's in bioethics. She's a bioethicist.
Bioethics. And she, just like us, a scientist.
That's correct.
And he asks if he can read some of her research papers because he wants to understand better what her deal is, and she is as turned on as he was when he saw her in the crack of the door nudesies. She's as turned on that he wants to read her science papers. Because no one ever, like, she sent her science papers to her sister and her family and stuff, but they never actually read them.
Which I would not do. Am I weird? Am I the weirdo
your friends'
here?
Science papers?
Yeah, like
I would if they asked me to.
Sure, but it seems like she sent them unsolicited because they never read them.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like I wouldn't have anything. I feel like I wouldn't understand my friend's science papers because I'm a big hot dummy.
Well, because sometimes science goes over even the smartest scientists' heads.
Scientists, even sometimes, if you are a scientist, sometimes you still don't understand science.
It's all about the cross the disciplines. And the ways in which they differ.
Or sometimes I don't read a science paper because I know that it's beneath me because I'm such a science.
And maybe
I might not understand it. Yeah, maybe I might not understand it because the words are too small. And my brain is too big for it.
Mundane.
Yes.
All right?
Yes, I'll get bored and fall asleep because my science is so much more exciting.
A teensy bit pedantic. All right?
But he's a dum-dum, so he wants to read her science papers.
Yeah.
He's not like us.
God, he's like a golden retriever of the best kind. Wait, I want to note for the record, I need to defend Larissa's character to listener. Okay. He says, "You're really pretty." Her chest rose as she took in a surprised breath. Then she looked down, scanning herself. Really? Thank you. I didn't make much of an effort today. I didn't even bother putting in my contacts. And like that's, and he's like, you don't have to qualify a compliment. You can just take it. And that is a good point. But I do just need everyone to know that she did not verbally kick him in the nards.
Listener, she's a bitch. She's the meanest Mino that there's ever been. And let me tell you another thing. In addition to her being kind of mean, the issue with him being like not as funny as he thinks he is really doubles down during this date when he does the winking thing. He like winks a lot at her.
He does.
And then she makes a comment on how it's cute and she didn't know that people in real life actually winked at each other. And then he starts like winking violently and aggressively at her and being like, is this cute? Is this cute? And she's like, you're like a wink monster. And he's like, I am. I'm the wink monster.
This was
folks,
weird.
That's not funny. That's not a funny joke. It could be cute, I guess, but it's not like roll on the floor laughing funny, which is how they take it. So I'm really glad that these two found each other And they can be together and make those jokes forever at each other and no one else.
To each other. If some man got on all fours in front of me and like got close to my face in order to wink at me violently, I would be so creeped out. And she just literal rolling on the floor laughing. Giggles.
And he laughs too. And he's like, I needed this laugh. I've never in my life laughed really hard and thought, I needed this laugh.
Oh my God. Actually,
I needed the release of this laugh that I'm currently having.
I understand that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I look forward to podcasts just because I have a good feeling that like I will belly laugh at some point during it.
Oh, yeah.
And that makes me happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Okay. So. Okay. He tells her about how he's a hairstylist too. And then she says that she hasn't had her hair cut since she moved there.
Yeah, and he's been like super ogling her hair. He keeps on being like, I just want to get my fingers into her curly hair. And one of my favorite things later on is that the first few times they kiss, she's like rubbing her hands all over his body, and he's just like in that
all
hair.
In that hair. Yeah. But
great.
I like that too because like the man knows how to do a scalp massage.
Oh my God, he can
Make
shampoo
out
a fucking scalp. Oh my God, I dated a person once who was really into like the deep touches while making out, and it was nice because I basically got like a back massage while making out.
Well, it seems like this is that
perfect.
guy because he keeps talking about how he's like squeezing her neck and like, but in like a nice way, like the back of her neck.
It's not a strangle.
Not a strangle squeeze. No, you would not hear me saying nice things. But he does a lot of like a little knead and a little back of the neck. And he always says that she melts into him when he does that. So I think that's the kind of guy he is. Hot.
I mean, into it. I wish that person hadn't been lacking in other ways for me personally, Melody.
Yes.
That was nice. Okay.
All right. Okay. So then she goes over to his cousin's house.
Yes, the next night.
4.
Yeah, and it's so cute because they're like talking about other things and spending part of the day together. And he's just like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And she's like, I don't really know. And he invites her over to Avi's house. And she fits in so well with his family. And we find out more about their family. And like, I also don't want to talk about them. But it's really, really cute.
It is cute. And there's like a kid and he's good with the kid. And if you're into the guy that's good with the kids and if you're into all that, this is all good stuff for you.
Worked on me. I'll tell you that much.
And then after they get home, they're in the car. So he cuts the engine, and then they're in the car.
And they're ensconced in just like this bubble of hope and quiet and like the tension in between them. And she like talks really lowly, and she's like, I had a really good time tonight. So that she didn't like,
are you
burst.
Having a happy Hanukkah?
Happy Hanukkah.
She's like, the happiest.
The best Hanukkah.
And then he's like, welp, okay. And then like takes her to her door and then kind of like slams her into her apartment. And also not the good way that you can slam a girl into her apartment.
Correct.
And earlier when he was talking to his cousin and his family, they were talking about like how he used to be kind of slutty.
Right.
That was mentioned at the family thing. So that's kind of in his head that he was kind of a douchebag and used to like go around and just like have meaningless sex all the time.
She's in her apartment being like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I feel like we should have kissed and I don't understand why. I'm like feeling a little bit rejected and I'm really confused. Meanwhile, he is furiously pacing around his apartment being like, Gah! I didn't kiss her because I got in my head, because I didn't want her to think that I was like, I was being that guy with her, because I don't think I want to be, like, I know I don't want to be that guy in general, and I think I definitely don't want to be that guy with her specifically, but I think by like not wanting to fuck it up, I fucked it up even harder, and then like knock on the door, and he opens it up.
Fantastic.
This was one of the best scenes and moves I've seen in a while.
Yes, this was great.
It was great. So she's standing there and sorry. So he's like, he's like, hi. And she comes right up to him and she like grabs the front of his shirt and she says, you should have kissed me down there. And she says, I heard you pacing in your apartment.
Down there.
Yeah. Also that.
No, she means in the car.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, and she's like, so I decided to come over. And then she goes up to him and grabs his shirt. And she's like, because you should have kissed me in the car. And he's like, I know. I just got really in my head. And then she goes, but I should have kissed you too. And so then they like meet.
I love the but I should have kissed you too. It wasn't like you are the boy and you should have like she takes responsibility too because it's two people. She could have kissed him just as much as he could have kissed her.
I loved it. I loved it. And so then they make out like hard and it is a good makeout and like you should read it.
And I don't understand why this makeout doesn't turn into sex except for plot device because he's like, we should just like let this kiss, the best kiss that I've ever had, stand alone. And I'm like, why?
Why? In what world?
Why not all? I don't understand.
It seems like I'm just going to go home and not be able to sleep.
Yeah. YOLO, my friend. Like,
YOLO.
I don't get it. Why waste a night? Like, we're here.
There's so many,
I didn't understand.
There's so few nights of Hanukkah, you know?
I know. There's no conflict in this book. There is no reason. But he just, I think, wants to take it slow to make it special and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Which is very sweet, but super misguided for two of us.
I was angry because I feel like there should have at least been an HJ or something
there should have been a finger bang. He
should
have played her.
Some boob stuff. Like, he didn't even touch her boobs at all.
I know. And he likes them. They're good, I guess. You know?
So that's 4. So then next day, he sees her leaving. No, he gets back from his bike ride, right? And then he was going to do, I don't know. He's coming home. He's going to do a stationary bike.
Yeah. He's gone and gotten his bike from the basement and he's going to do a stationary bike in his house. Right. And she hears the commotion and she pops her head out because she's horny as fuck and she got no relief last night. Okay. And she's like, hey, what's going on? What you doing? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go do a bike ride, blah, blah, blah. And she says, oh, is it really weird if I tell you that I want to like go in there and watch you? And he's like, no, like, yes, but weird in a good way. But also I go for like 1.5 or 2 hours. So you're probably going to get bored. And so she just brings work over and she sits on that couch and she watches him get sweaty and huff and puff while she works. And
I mean, it was weird, but it was fine. I still think it was kind of strange to watch somebody work out. I would not let somebody watch me work out. Probably because it's not cute. It is not. I don't want anyone I like anywhere near me if I'm working out.
The faces I make.
Oh, man. No. You know when you run like a half marathon or something and then they give you the pictures that they took, the candid pictures that they took?
And you're like, wow.
It's the worst. Like, I would pay them to not send me those samples. If they were like, the half marathon registration is $150, but if you pay $160, we won't send you the proofs of the pictures we take of you. I would be like, deal. Like, let's do it that way. But they don't offer that service. They don't.
They just force you to look at them.
I know. It's awful.
And you can't not open that email. I've tried.
Because you need to see. It's like a morbid curiosity.
It's true. What does the world see as I'm surviving through a half marathon?
Hey, HBs. I started an Etsy store. Did you know? Right now, it's full of all the St. Vincent items you need. Because St. Vincent is thoughtful and cozy all year round. We've got a book sleeve to keep your books, planners, e-readers, or really anything else safe when you're on the go. The inside is fuzzy, and they feel so incredibly lush in your hands. I went round and round with the manufacturers to make sure I had just the right thickness. Those feature art of St. Vincent and Evie during their carriage adventure that was painted by the amazing Mayara Faraz on one side, and then I created a St. Vincent Would Always wreath on the other side that has a bunch of little Easter egg items in it. There's a St. Vincent Would Always warm brick enamel pin. It's like, if you know, you know. I designed a special edition Marriage of Convenience candle that is specific to Devil in Winter, with the help of HB Jen at Post Pouring Company. It combines dark amber for St. Vincent and rosewood for Evie, and it smells so delicious. It's hard to even wrap my brain around. So if you want to treat yourself or be the St. Vincent you want to see in the world by getting a care package for a friend, check out our Etsy store. The link is in the show notes.
So then they go get coffee, which is the best post-workout thing you can do. Is to
Totally.
go get coffee.
Totally. It's not
these,
dehydrating at all.
Right. They eat these like donut boys that have beans in them.
Red bean donuts.
What's the deal there?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so red bean paste usually is like a desserty, yummy. If it's the same thing, it's definitely.
Well, I've had like a red bean ice cream or like a red bean mochi.
Sure, I think it's like that, but donut.
Okay.
That was my understanding.
I bet I've just never heard of it. I understood the concept. I've just never heard of such a thing.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I don't know.
Good stuff.
But then again, I didn't know about the red bean other treats that I ate,
Right?
and they ended up
and
being
they
fine.
were delightful.
So science tells me that I would like the red bean donuts, but I'm still apprehensive.
it does
'Cause even
combine
though-
two things I like: red beans
Yeah.
and donuts.
That's the thing. I don't really like red beans that much. But then when they pop up amongst other things that I like, it's usually fine.
Interesting.
Like a rice with some sausages or a mochi.
Well,
I'll
I
eat
meant
anything
the
in a
paste.
mochi. Yes.
Anything in a mochi. You put a
Yep.
mouse in a mochi, I'll eat it.
No. Coat anything in mochi and I'm there. So I'm sure I would like it. But my scientific brain says yes, would like, but my emotional brain says hesitate. And that's
this
not a
is the
good
best
quality in a
use
scientist,
for
and I'm working
our
on it.
scientific brains.
Yes.
This right here. So they go and they do I was gonna say they do science. Nope. They go to that coffee
They make
shop.
out. No,
They
but
make out
they
in
make out hard in
public.
that coffee shop in front of everybody.
And apparently they did it more.
Yes.
Like, they were like, we did this big make out, and then he's like, we just kissed in public. And she's like, yeah, it's weird, but I like it. And then they keep on talking it says we keep on talking and kissing for hours. They just keep on PDAing.
There's a part of me that's just like, hard no. But I also was like, it's kind of sweet. I don't know.
It's so sweet.
It's sweet when you're reading it as them. It's a hard no when you imagine the rest of the coffee shop. Like when you zoom out and you're like, ugh. People are just trying to live, you know?
Maybe they're giving some coffee sitting romance author some good material, you know?
Yeah.
Some inspiration. Maybe this author was sitting in a coffee shop while a very adorable couple did this exact thing.
Maybe.
That, who knows? Art imitates life and stuff, I've heard. So, insurance.
Sorry, there's like a weird bug in my house, which is so crazy because it's been like -20 here for like 3 solid weeks. So like this bug has been just living in my house for months.
Yeeps.
But he's gone now. Nope. I can't get him. Anyway, then he leaves her at her door. They make out a little bit, and then he kind of like touches the skin at her waist, and then that's it. He doesn't touch her boobs at all.
No boob touches.
And then like he leaves her there on night 5, and then the next day he goes over to her house, and she's not there. So he goes and hangs out with his cousin Avi. And tells him about how much he likes Larissa.
She's trying to be too cool for school. And he's also trying to be too cool for school because neither of them are cool at all. Mm-hmm. In school or not. Not
they
okay.
Like each other a lot.
They like each other a lot. So then when he comes home, they do the candles and like, that's it, right? At some point it snows.
No, it doesn't snow yet. Gosh,
Okay.
why didn't we
Why
this
didn't I?
good?
I
It's
know.
hard when there's no conflict to remember everything that happens.
Yeah.
That's not sex.
Yeah.
No, because they do the sex before they do the snow times.
You're right, they do.
So the next night is when she comes over to his house. So I think he goes out with Avi and then he comes back and then she comes over and is like, okay, like I missed you today and that's pretty rough. And then she's just like down to bone. Like she's ready to go. Her sweater's coming off. It's all the way, which is great.
It's great.
And this sex is really good for like a little holiday novella. I mean, like it's objectively good. What I'm saying is I didn't expect it to be this good because I expected it to be kind of truncated because it's a sweet holiday novella. But it was not. It was very good. It bangs hard.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's good.
It bangs very hard.
Actually, in this sex scene, he like puts on a condom and then she says hard.
Yes.
Because one of the things that they say back and forth is like, she asks him, what is it like to be so hard, like all over your body? Like, I've always been soft, and so I don't really understand moving through the world with like those muscles or whatever. And he's like, and he comes over and he looks over and he's like, I like your soft. And she's like, oh, I know. I am aware. So then he's like, during the sex scene, in his head, he's just like, oh my gosh, like our bodies are just melding together and blah, blah, blah. And then he is about to put it in her and she says hard. And then he like slowly penetrates her and she's like, hard, please. Like I meant it.
And then she bites him.
And then she bites him.
To really drive the point home.
And then he says he loses his fucking mind.
Then
so
he
it works.
Yes, that's right. To her demands.
That's right.
And it is great.
It's hot.
So then it's next day is the snow, when they go and play in the snow together.
Yes.
Like a beautiful movie montage.
That's right.
They make snow angels.
Angels, yeah, in like the sidewalk or whatever. She refuses to spend the night before. And he like definitely wanted her to. What?
I'm sorry, I was just thinking of this Christmas movie I watched. Maybe we can talk about it. We'll talk about it afterwards. We'll do a little Patreon maybe.
Yeah, we gotta do a Patreon about that guy who drove. Or tried to.
Oh, God. So I've watched, I think, 5 Hallmark/Lifetime Christmas movies in the last, like, few days, just in the background. And I have seen some doozies.
Incredible.
So let's do that right after this, and I'll talk about
definitely.
them. Okay. Sorry. Back to the recording times where we're doing the recapping of the thing.
I dragged my tongue across her collarbone, and she tasted, she tasted like sweet, silky butter. Ugh. Oh, God, your mouth is driving me crazy. And then she says, you have no idea how many ways my mouth can drive you crazy, Yosef.
I know. The dirty talk is so
Jesus.
Good. Like the times where it's like he's saying stuff like between thrusts and like the thing is like dirty thing, slap, dirty thing, slap, dirty thing, slap. It was so good. It was, you guys, it bangs. It was good.
It bangs. Okay.
So then they have this, like, very nice, sweet times in the snow.
Sure.
After which it bangs again. But also, like, the sweet times in the snow where they lay in the snow on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Is that a normal?
What?
Here's the thing. This takes place in Baltimore. I've lived in Baltimore. What?
Yeah.
They're just laying in the snow on the sidewalk? And then he says something like, well, there's a foot of snow in the street, so no cars are coming. And it's like, yeah, but they wouldn't see you if they did. Like, don't lay in the street when there's snow. Well, don't ever lay on the street, The Notebook. Like, don't do this shit. Like,
right.
It's not romance to lay down in the street. Wasn't that The Notebook? I don't know.
What's
the one where they lay on the street? It's stupid. Don't do it. Hey, stop that.
It's some Nate Silver. Nope.
No. Nicholas Sparks?
That's the one.
There you go.
White dude and ass, you know.
Yeah. I mean, lay in the snow, but do it in the safety of your own yard and not on a public sidewalk.
Yeah.
Or in a park.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I was really expecting... She was like, I heard a plow in the distance. And I was like, no, get away from the sidewalk. You're going to get...
Because at this point in the book, I'm still expecting like a third act.
Yeah, something.
I was expecting something horrible to happen in the third act because it always does. And then it never did. So I was like, fuck, are they going to get like, is there going to be a danger right now? No, there wasn't. It was just nice. And then
they... Bang again. Because they have to warm up. Oh my God. So then they go into her house and she's like, oh my gosh, come warm up with me under the blankets. And so they do that, but they're like nearly naked. And then she decides to like kiss all over his body and stuff. And man, it's hot.
Yes.
And then he kisses all over her body. Listen, it's great stuff.
So then they go to the library, probably next.
Then he takes her to the library. He's like, I'm going to take you to my
nice.
favorite library. Not just a library, not the library. I'm taking you to my favorite library, he says.
Nice.
Oh my God. So they do library stuff. She gets a library card. Then they have more coffee. And it's really cute because they like read silently together. One of my favorite things in the world. To do with
They FaceTime with her family where he meets her family and the sister's like, you're hot. I'm into it.
Yeah, hot
The
neighbor.
husband has to like hold her back. It's funny.
It's great.
And then it's just kind of like over. They're just together and they love each other. This was like the last night of Hanukkah.
Was it?
Yeah. It like right after the library and then the phone call, they're just like kind of done.
So the thing though, I'm sorry. When they're out at coffee at the library, she's like, why won't you call me Riss like everyone else? And he's like, I don't know. There's something about it. Like, it seems like a pal kind of name. And I don't feel like that about you. I want to call you Larissa. And she's like, oh, that's why it hasn't worked out for me in the past. You know, it's a it's a good note to have for all the future men. And he sort of gets like a look over his face. And she's like, oh my God, that was a shitty thing to say. I'm sorry. I don't even know why I said that. And he's like, yeah, it was kind of shitty, but it's also totally okay. And then they keep on having these things back and forth where he's like, I don't know, like this feels real. And it's really sweet. And and then they have another sex on the couch before all this happens.
I mean, they just kind of fall in love.
Yeah.
In like the last 3 pages. He says it only took him 8 days.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So he's like making deep eye contact with her. And she says that it seems like he's trying to like, I don't know, make sure she's sort of still there. Like he can't believe it's happening kind of situation. And so he says, Larissa, and she pulls him down to her and she's like, this is real. And he says, so real. Oh, it's like, it's great. It's great stuff. And so then at the end, they're lighting the final candle. And all throughout this, she's been like, I don't know how we do this after Hanukkah because we're both on vacation and we're both incredibly busy when we're not. And she says that one of the things about the last night of Hanukkah that's very bittersweet is that because there are so many candles in a row heating each other as they burn much faster than like night one. And so she's like, I don't want this to end. And I know it's going to end even sooner than it has before. And so she is basically like, you know, he's like, I want this and I want you because I'm in love with you and I'm not going to qualify it. And I know it's fast, but like, I'm in love with you. And she says, I'm falling. I've been holding myself back because I didn't think it could possibly, you know, actually work. And then, so she's gearing up for like a goodbye, a bittersweet goodbye, just like the bittersweet end of Hanukkah. And then he pulls out he's like, you know what? We got to be like that dude with the Hanukkah story, Erin.
What are you talking about? Wait,
there's a dude.
Are you talking about the epilogue?
No. Yeah. Okay, I got it.
This?
Man, I'm amazing. Okay, so he says, so let's be Judah Maccabee. And she's like, what?
Oh,
and he says,
yes.
Judah Maccabee. He led a small band of soldiers to defeat the largest, mightiest army and reclaimed the Holy Temple. You know, the story of Hanukkah. Defying insurmountable odds, believing they could do it, and they did. Let's be Judah and say, fuck the odds, fuck the obstacles. We want this, so we'll make time. And she's just like, all of a sudden, I'm a big inspire. Like, yeah! Let's be Judah Maccabees for love.
Yeah, and believing in hope, and yeah, it's nice. It's
beautiful. This book, it's great. So anyway, that's it. Well, the end.
Yeah,
no, I'm sorry.
It wraps up very fast, but it wraps up very sweetly. Like I didn't mean to like minimize the ending. They have like a very beautiful conversation.
I don't think you did.
Okay, good.
But then the epilogue is Yom Kippur.
Yes.
So it's him having a very hard time toward the end of the fast. And like,
it's funny.
And being a baby about breaking the fast. So anyway, what a lovely delight this was.
Yeah. Short
All
and
right,
sweet.
Erin.
This is, you guys, this is only like 120 pages. You should definitely read it. It's very cute.
Yeah.
And you like learn some stuff about Hanukkah if you're not Jewish, which is like
totally
good.
It's really nice.
Which I can't say about any of the other Hanukkah books that we've read. Oh, man. Anyways.
All right, Erin. Do you have a lady love?
Hey, friends. Do you live in a place where there's ice and snow? Do you have a car scraper that sucks and has sucked for some time? A new car scraper costs only like $5. Nice. And if you have a car scraper that is not even and is only scraping like a small line of ice on your windshield every time you do scrape it, and you've been putting up with that for like a few years, just go get another fucking car scraper. It's not that hard. Do it at the grocery store the next time you get groceries, and it will change your life. Like, why are you like this? Just get another one.
There you go.
Go on Amazon right now. Get a good or better one. And
That's
it will really, really revolutionize your time this
It'll
winter.
improve your life.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I think mine has to be therapy, I guess. Although I don't even know if that's going to help. But, I don't know. I don't super have a lady love.
That's okay.
But if you are in a place where it feels like you're letting every single person in your life down, therapy is great. It's good stuff.
And if you're somebody who just said ice scrapers, before Melody said that, don't worry. Ice scrapers are important too. So is therapy.
They are. They are. All right. So you can find us on all the places. Erin, you want to tell them?
It's like, Heaving Bosoms on Facebook, heavingbosoms.com, heaving_bosoms on Twitter, at Heaving Bosoms on Instagram. You should probably be right now really hustling on that reading embrace before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And if you get us, all you have to do is email us and tell us you finished the embrace and what books you read for it, or book you read for it, if you can make it fit into all the categories. Or I know there's like a Google spreadsheet that floats around the cult that you can use too, and I'll find that before we do our episode. But as long as you get that to us, around like the end of the year time, the actual year, not a Heaving Bosoms fiscal year. Yeah.
Already doing it, and that's really, really cool. But let's say like
send us some emails.
Boxing Day.
Yeah, let's try to we're going to try to do this for New Year's. So try to do it by Christmas if you can, but if you don't, we always circle back and grab up the people who were late. We do make fun of you for being late though. Let's see what else is
Actually,
our
we
merch.
should tell them where.
Oh, we have special Christmas merch. That you can buy. Reindeer Mafia merch, Crone Eyebrows merch, all kinds of Heaving Bosoms Christmas merch. There's a Snoot Boopers t-shirt with Rooster's face on it, which I really like. It's great. Also stickers and stuff.
I think that's it. But seriously though, we are scheduled to record for the Reading Embrace on December 26th. So you have to have it in by then. That's it.
Yeah. Listen, to be in the Reading Embrace episode where we list all the names, you're going to have to do it by then.
Oh yeah.
If you don't, odds are that I will circle back and still say your name on another episode. But if you want to be on that episode, you have to get it in by then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love the interdisciplinary politics of highbrow scientists.
Which you got a big taste of in this episode.
You
just
did.
Through our discourse and dialogue and our hypotheses and
That's the one.
our methods and our Petri dishes, which we have here.
We do.
And our
They're off
safety
screen. All right,
goggles.
Patreon. They're off. They're just out of frame is all. You dicks.
Yeah,
Cool.
totally.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.